Limpopo. All right. In the studio, like we said earlier, we're joined by Chris and David. Chris Campbell is the CEO of Consulting Engineers South Africa, CESA. And the president is David Leukes. Let's welcome them onto the Ashifa breakfast. Lelo.
Mr. CEO, Mr. President, good morning, welcome. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, but Mr. President, Mr. CEO. What was the position?
Of course, It's not everybody. Morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. And morning to your listeners as well.
Okay, so now, David, what motivated Consulting Engineers South Africa to visit Limpopo, and what key objectives do you aim to achieve?
So, Ashifa, Consulting Engineers South Africa aims to engage with its member firms and relevant stakeholders to foster collaboration. Therefore, our visit focuses on enhancing partnerships between public and private sectors, advocating for continuous infrastructure development and service delivery that is essential for economic growth and community building. So that is in short why we are here.
And why are engineers important? Why is infrastructure so critical to this province and the country as a whole, David?
When we were driving yesterday from Johannesburg to Polokwane, this beautiful city, we had this discussion about the importance of engineers. So engineers actively working in our member companies apply their knowledge and skills to design and develop social and economic infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, police station, courts, roads, to cite but a few. All of which improves the quality of life of our people. Investment in infrastructure facilitates trade, job creation, and overall community resilience, making engineers essential for developing South Africa, be it on a provincial or a national level. So you can see that engineers plays really an active role in developing South Africa Incorporated.
So, Chris, we understand that the engineering profession and the capacity to deliver on infrastructure projects is critical to several sectors across the country. If we are to grow our economy and deliver on social infrastructure projects, so is it true that there is a skills shortage, and what could be the reason for this?
Thank you for that question, and I didn't have the opportunity earlier. Good morning to your listeners. It is true not only for South Africa, it is a global issue that we need to be mindful of. Unfortunately, what we find ourselves in is a simultaneous period of recovery across the globe, where countries are trying to recover from the impact of the global pandemic. And infrastructure is the one catalyst, the development thereof, for job creation and economic growth. Of course, many countries have have been remiss in developing their own new timber. So they have an aged profession, not enough people. And South Africa, we similarly have scored some of those own goals, not developed enough capability. But of course, there are the systemic issues which, if we do not take the opportunity to address, that being the level of our basic education, we will be plagued with this challenge.
And Chris, again, how do you think we can address the skills and capacity challenge?
So there's a short-term opportunity, and we are leveraging that. We can see that in our Scarce Skills program as identified by government, where engineering is listed amongst the top 10. And the current approach is to afford visas and work permits to people from neighboring countries who have that kind of skills to offer. That's great from a stopgap perspective. I would like for us to advocate for growing also our own timber at the same time. Our youth should have all of the opportunities from their basic education into high school to choose the career that they want to. It shouldn't be a case of being limited by virtue of not having the necessary maths and science skills or knowledge and teaching.
We are currently chatting to the CEO of CESA, that's Consulting Engineers South Africa, Chris Campbell, and the President, David Leukes.
So, Chris, we come back to you again, and we want to understand, what do you see as the most significant infrastructure challenges consulting in Limpopo, in South Africa, and particularly regions like Limpopo?
So, as David mentioned earlier, there are two categories of infrastructure. We really have a shortage of social infrastructure, hospitals, clinics, schools, police stations, and the like. But in order for us to be able to develop enough of those, we also need to simultaneously develop more of our economic infrastructure, roads, get our rail back on, and excuse the pun, back on track, so that we can have the trade and the export opportunities, which are critical for growing our economy. Water is certainly becoming a big crisis next to our energy. We might be over, or we might think we're quite over the hump with our energy crisis in respect of Eskom, but unfortunately many of our local municipalities haven't kept pace with what is required at local levels, and it is unfortunate that unless more is done there, we may still find ourselves faced with load shedding, and I think in some areas they've given it a euphemism. It's called load rotation
or reduction,
or load reduction, you know, and it's unfortunately a case of what a rose by any other name remains a rose. Yeah, thank you.
Now, David, how can consulting engineers contribute to local infrastructure improvements?
So, Ashifa, consulting engineers provide expertise in planning, designing and executing infrastructure projects efficiently and sustainable. By collaborating with all stakeholders, we play a critical role to provide solutions that address local challenges. Like solving water supply issues is just one example of where engineering skills can indeed come in handy. So we believe we need to work together to solve many of the likes of the challenges that the Escoms and the Transnets and the water boards are experiencing.
David, CESA has been advocating for partnerships and collaboration, not only for this year, but for several years already. Why is this strategic partnership between public and private sector so important?
It's no secret that our public entities simply do not have enough skilled and competent engineers to meet the need for delivery of economic and social infrastructure. Therefore, CESA is simply stating the obvious by emphasizing that through collaboration, engineers working actively in our member companies can indeed make a huge impact in addressing infrastructure challenges, not only in Limpopo but in the rest of South Africa. So in a nutshell, we believe that working together we can really solve a lot of our challenges.
You have an event today. Tell us about it, and it's for how many days?
So today we have a breakfast with our local member companies, and hopefully also new companies joining our more than 500 membership. And we're going to come and address our members and tell them more about what CESA is doing for them. So it's an occasion that is only for today, but hopefully we will return next year and we're going to have a bigger crowd.
So it's here at Mirupa Casino.
Yes.
Conference Center. So young engineers who are interested in knowing more about your organization, can they join in, or it's a closed event?
I will leave that one to Chris. he will tell you a bit more.
He wants to be good cop. I see.
I see that, David's been watching the Springboks. That was hospital pass of note. We unfortunately haven't equipped ourselves for an online participation, but it is always possible. We normally plan these events, and based on the numbers, whether it be online or in person, we try to structure it and gear up for hybrid. In this instance, unfortunately, the response levels were not significant enough to go to the lengths of getting the equipment that would be necessary for such a hybrid type of event. However, much of the event is recorded, and we as an industry association, we have an active website, www.cesa.co.za, and there is under the publication section a CETV section, and a lot of what happens is recorded and can be listened to or viewed after the fact.
Great stuff. Godfrey Ramalisa, thank you for organizing the interview.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we need more information regarding the bursaries and what you can make, that you can organize in terms of local companies here that are attending the event today, in how they can assist the youth in terms of issues of engineering, access to the sector.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we will.
Yeah, if you could come closer.
This is a microphone. Nothing
come
scary.
this side. Use this one.
Okay.
We want commitment, say.
Commitment.
Yeah. Assistance to the youth.
To the youth. So I think from our event today, we will lobby some of our member firms to be available when you do career, whether expose or when you are sharing information about careers and also opportunities for bursaries. Our 580 member firms, they do offer bursaries and also offer opportunities for employment or for in-service training. You remember we used to battle with in-service training. So there are opportunities. So we will make ourselves available for such initiatives.
Yeah, I went to in-service training was where Genrec. I went to Transnet. I also was part of designing the dam, Mutoti Dam, now Nandoni. Through Department of Water Affairs in Pretoria. Yeah.
So my in-service training was with Conco Construction then, and we were busy building a Columbus stainless steel in Middleburg. So that's where I spent of like my year, then went back to finish my diploma, and then I was then appointed by Conco.
Wow.
I hope
so said Marion Roberts, yeah? Yeah, I did. In Germiston. Yeah.
Do you know what I find quite comforting is the fact that somebody with a diploma is, openly saying that they have a diploma and also has seen the benefits of getting a diploma. Because in many instances, we assume that you need to have the degree in order to be a valuable member of a particular sector. So shout out to you.
Yeah, but it is important to get a degree. I think some of us, we were really high performers, including Shava. So we could have actually studied a degree and get a master's and doctorate. But I think we are fine. We are together with degreed people solving engineering problems or service delivery problems.
But I think the point made earlier needs to be considered a lot more strongly. Unfortunately, what we've done is we have unsexified vocational training.
Yes.
We need people that can put things together. The engineers and people who go and get the degrees have the theoretical knowledge, they have the design knowledge, they don't build anything. And there is a huge need for artisan training. And if ever there was an opportunity, and I want to share this with you, is I started my career as an artisan. I was a draftsman. I used to draw plans, which is artisan based. It was similar to being an electrician, a plumber, etc. And that was because of affordability. And later on in life, I built up, got the support, financial support, and pursued it, and eventually found myself having a degree. So you don't have to start at the end point when there are constraints. You can secure a job much more easier initially when you need to earn the money through having those kind of skills. So I think it's important that the whole food chain and the value chain, that people need to see that there's pride in that. It's not a lesser qualification. It's so important. In fact, when your drain is blocked, you're not going to call your engineer, you're going to call the plumber. You're looking for that plumber urgently.
True.
And you'll pay arm and a leg because that's what they charge, by the way. So there are huge opportunities there not to be scoffed at.
Okay, so give us, as we wrap up that website again for CESA.
www.cesa.co.za.
It's the CESA.
CESA.co.za.
Thank you. Hagi is listening, who has a show between 12 and 3. It links up with the plugs a lot of young people. He is requesting to chat to you in the afternoon between 12 and 3. Richard? Godfrey, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's a yes, right?
It's a yes.
Yeah, because you are here.
We will be mobile by then, but let's see what could be arranged.
Oh, will you be done by midday? Ah, okay.
The break
So it's through a call, Hagi. He sent a message here. Hagi, so yeah, and unfortunately he won't be physically here, but you can talk to him through the phone. Okay, done. Thank you, gentlemen, and all the best for your event today.
Shaba. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Shaba, and thanks for showing there's life after engineering.
Oh, yeah. No. I miss civil engineering, man. Roads, water, and structure.
This is my other career aspiration.
Oh, okay.
You've got so much power behind this mic.
Yeah.
Realize it.
So when I see those structures there in Dubai, I'm thinking, gee, I could be part of this, man.
As a talk show host, you have lots of power.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
We're getting into the